Hi everybody, TJ Mac Vintage Cards, and today I'm doing episode 14 of my vintage hockey case build, where I'm building a case of 30 cards, full body or three-quarter body shots from 1953 to 1963 Topps and Parkhurst, and these will all be Star or Hall of Famers from that great era of hockey. If you want to watch any of the previous episodes, just go back to my older videos or the playlist I've set up for this series. And let's go ahead and recap ones we've done so far. Gordie Howe, Rocket Richard, Tim Horton, Frank Mahavlich, Dickie Moore, Milt Schmidt. Second row we got Doug Harvey, Bobby Hull, Jean Rattel, Ted Lindsay, Lauren Gump Worsley, Alan Stanley. And then the third row we let off with Red Kelly, Jean Beliveau. Today we're profiling the great goalie Glenn Hall of the Chicago Blackhawks. This is his 1959 Topps card. Take a closer look at it. This is the first 59 I've put in this case. And you can see the great looking Chicago Blackhawks logo with the tomahawks, with the C kind of circling around it there on his sleeves. Nice black and white stripes. You got the old goalie equipment there. Just a great looking card of his. And he says it's goal, his position. Back of the card. And he was traded by the Wings to the Hawks, and we'll talk a little bit about that as I go through the profile. And you can see here they had a little comic here with some trivia questions. How far are the blue lines from the goal line? And the answer is 60 feet. We also have the French and English on the back of the Topps cards as well, because these cards, a lot of them were distributed into Canada. We didn't see much hockey in the U.S. back then. So these cards, as I've said many times, are not nearly as common as you'd see baseball and even the football from that era. So let's talk a little bit about Glenn Hall now. And I'm going to start off by saying this. You have right here Cal Ripken's incredible streak of 2,632 games played, which was really just an awesome achievement and probably will never ever be broken. So you got to obviously give Ripken a lot of credit for enduring such a long streak and showing up every day and playing the game. And then you also got Brett Favre here, and this is his 91 Stadium Club rookie with him on the Falcons. But he had a 297 consecutive game played streak in football, and the second most was 270 by Jim Marshall, who was a defensive lineman for the Vikings. And what's really impressive about Favre's streak is he did it as a quarterback, and he still has the all-time record, and not just amongst quarterbacks, but amongst all players who ever played in the NFL. So just very impressive. We know Favre's reputation as a very tough guy. So I just wanted to highlight these two records here, because I think Glenn Hall certainly has a record that is right up there with those two great achievements. And Glenn Hall played 502 consecutive regular season games at goal. And if you count the playoffs, it was 551. His streak started on October 6, 1955, and ended on November 7th, 1962. And you got to remember, he did all of this without a goalie mask in a pretty tough era of hockey. So he has a very, very impressive record that is right up there with those two others' achievements. And I read an article in the Hockey News that said the most unbreakable record in sports is probably Glenn Hall's record. And that's debatable. I mean, I think there's some other ones like Cy Young's record and that'll never be touched, and probably some others as well. But it's very unusual for a skater to play that many games, although there are skaters that have higher consecutive game records than Glenn Hall. But for a goalie, 502 consecutive regular season games, that's never going to happen. And the Hockey News said that it would be a cover story if anybody even came within 10% of Glenn Hall's records. Because you got to remember, prior to the NHL expanding in 1967, it was very common for teams to rely on just one goalie. In more than a handful of cases, one goalie played an entire season without relief. But what's really amazing about Hall's record is that he did it for 7 consecutive seasons, which is just so impressive when you think about it. And what happened, how it ended, was he had pulled a muscle in his back, and he was struggling getting out of bed. So the record ended on that date in November of 1962. So Glenn Hall, he began his career, like it said on the back of his card, with the Detroit Red Wings, and he was a very good goalie with them. He won the Calder Trophy as the best rookie. He took them to the Stanley Cup Finals on the Red Wings. But then suddenly he was traded. The Red Wings reacquired Terry Sawchuk, so they sent Ted Lindsay along with Glenn Hall to the Chicago Blackhawks. And I looked it up to see, why would they trade such a good young goalie? And what had happened is Ted Lindsay was kind of making some waves with the Players Union. He was one of the guys that started the Players Union in the NHL. And what happened was the owner of the Red Wings was not too pleased that Lindsay's involvement with the union. So he shipped him off to the Chicago Blackhawks along with Glenn Hall, because him and Lindsay were very good friends, is my understanding, and this was reported by NBC Sports. And what happened also, as it says in the back of the card, the Red Wings reacquired the great Terry Sawchuk, so they moved ahead without Glenn Hall. And what a mistake that turned out to be, because Glenn Hall was arguably the best goalie in hockey for about the next 10 years. And then what happened with him was, in 1966-67 season, he won the Vezina Trophy with the Blackhawks. And he also, in 61, won the Stanley Cup with the Blackhawks as they beat the Red Wings. So he got some revenge against the team that dealt him. But as I said, in 67, after he won the Vezina Trophy as the best goalie, expansion hit the NHL, and they exposed Glenn Hall to expansion, and the St. Louis Blues picked him up. And with his first season with the Blues, they ended up making the Stanley Cup Finals against the Montreal Canadiens, and he won the Calder Trophy as the playoff MVP, even though the Canadiens won the Stanley Cup that year. And how the Blues got there is, back then the expansion teams formed one conference, and then the traditional NHL teams formed the other conference. So it made it obviously easier for an expansion team to get to the finals, because they didn't have to battle any of the other NHL teams that previously existed before expansion. So the next year with the Blues, Glenn Hall won the Vezina Trophy again, and back then you won it as teammates, so that the goalie crew, so to speak, won it, and Jacques Plante was his teammate on the Blues. So him and Plante won the Vezina Trophy together. So granted, these guys were later in their career, but it's probably two of the best, I'd say 6 or 7 goalies of all time on the same team, which is really cool if you think about it. So Glenn Hall retired at the end of the 1971 season. He was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1975, and he had 407 wins in his career. And I believe when I looking that up, it was 3rd place all time when he retired. It may have been 2nd place because Plante was so close to him at that time, but he was 2nd or 3rd place, we'll just say that. And he had finished with the 3 Vezina trophies as the best goalie in hockey. And he was an 11-time All-Star, a 6-time first-team All-Star, and he's still alive today at 89 years old. So it was real fun researching him and watching video on him. He had a great style on the net, flopping all around, and really when you see the way he played, it is amazing that he started the 551 games in goal when you include the playoffs, and 502 in the regular season. So I just wanted to share about him. Hopefully you learned something about Glenn Hall today, and just the outstanding player that he was. Everybody have a great day.